Hey y'all, come on in. It is time for another Forward Friday with Dr. K. Come on in and invite your friends, y'all. Come on, come on, come on, and come on. Come on in. I'm excited about today, so come on in. Come on in, you guys. Come on in, share, and invite your entrepreneur friends, y'all. Your boss friends today. Come on in, y'all. I'm excited. And I got a little freebie for you guys today. So come on in. They said the sky was the limit. I put my footprint all in it because I've been there. Come on in. Hello for those who are watching us on Twitter. Hi, Twitter people. If you're watching me in one of our groups, hello. Good morning, or good afternoon to some of you guys who are on the East Coast. Good morning. You got this. So come on in. Good morning. Hello, Stacy. I see you. Good morning. I guess I need to be sharing with my friends as well. But come on in, you guys. It is time for another Forward Friday. Remember, we're not going to be on here long. We always try to get us out of here under 30 minutes to an hour. But today is going to be really, really quick. So be prepared. We're going to be talking about tips to knowing your self-worth, you guys. So this is something that entrepreneurs need to know as well. I'm telling you, this helps your business. And this is where we give you those free business tip, tools, and techniques over here. I share whatever I learn because I want you guys to go up and glow up just like I do. So come on in and invite at least 2 to 3 boss friends who you think would benefit from what we're talking about today, because it's not easy saying that I don't believe in myself. It's not easy. And sometimes, people can show that they don't believe in themselves in different ways. All right. If you're watching us on the Hearst page, hello, everybody. Good morning, and good afternoon. It's not easy saying, I don't believe in myself. I don't believe that I'm worthy. It's not easy to say that, but you have to be realistic with where you are, because once you're realistic with where you are, then it's going to be easy for you to figure out where it is that you're trying to go and get there. All right. So that's what we're doing here on Forward Fridays. I just like to give free business tip, tools, and techniques and things that help me build this brand up and be successful in this arena. And so they always say each one, teach one, and reach one. And so that's what I believe in doing. So good morning and good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are in the world. So come on in, everyone, and let's get today started. All right. So we're talking about 3 tips to knowing your self-worth. Okay. Y'all know how I like to do over here with us. Before I even start saying, getting into the tips, we always have this question. And the question we always ask, what is it? And say that to yourself, because some people will misconstrue. Good morning, Anitra. Or T, sometimes we misconstrue, or we think that self-worth is the same thing as self-esteem and self-confidence. It is not. It's 2 separate things. And the way that we're going to figure out what those things are and how we can, get back to understanding and knowing our self-worth, number one, we have to get to one simple truth. What's the simple truth? First of all, let's talk about what self-worth is. It's internal. But it's the internal sense of being good enough and worthy of love and belonging from others. This is not coming from external. This is internal. This is you saying, I'm not worthy enough. All right. Sometimes you take a hit to your self-esteem because your self-esteem is, and your self-confidence, we see down at the bottom where the note says, that is when you rely on external factors to define your value. All right. Self-worth is when you rely on your internal factors, all right, to define your values. So this is you defining your values and being a lady boss out here in these streets that is heavily populated and also male dominated. Sometimes you can lose your self-worth. Sometimes you can say, you know what, I don't even think I'm worthy to be doing this, because sometimes it doesn't flow the way you want it to flow and all of those different things. And so those of us who know our worth, we may consciously or unconsciously believe that we are worthless. All right. Because your business doesn't look like somebody else's, and it falls into that comparison trap. All right. But when you believe that you are unworthy, it affects everything, including your business or ministry, because there are ministry that run like businesses. There is a business side to ministry. Okay. So I'm not just talking about business leaders. I'm talking about leaders across the board. You can be a lady boss with a ministry as well. But if you believe that you are unworthy, it affects everything from your thoughts to your emotions and how you run your business or your ministry. Okay. So I went through this data, because y'all know I'm a data person, and I read up on all the research, and low self-worth. Listen, you guys, low self-worth was the number one predictor of unhappiness. Okay. It was low self-worth. Because number one, we can't rely on somebody else to make us happy. All right. But low self-worth amongst entrepreneurs, lady bosses, guy bosses too. We're just not talking about ladies, but I'm a lady, so I always say lady boss. But that was the number one predictor of unhappiness, was low self-worth. Not that other people, and you took a hit to your self-esteem from external factors, other people, where you were expecting other people to acknowledge you. But this came from internal. This came from the entrepreneurs themselves. So you got to know your self-worth and believe that you are indeed worthy and that you are where you are supposed to be. You deserve to be in that space. Okay. So we're going to dive into this really, really quick, because it is Friday and I don't want to keep you guys long. So how do you value yourself more and boost your self-worth? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. Here's one of the things that you got to do. First, you got to define your value. You got to define your value. Okay. You have to do that. You have to first figure out, what are some of the things that makes me who I am? Okay. So if you want to define your value and not go all off into, the brainiac type stuff, here's some simple ways that you can do that. What makes you special? What is it about you that makes you special? Not what other people say that makes you special, but what you know about yourself that makes you special. What makes you special? All right. So these are some things that you need to sit down and you really have to look at yourself and say, this is what makes me special. Not to everybody else, but this makes me special, and that I know this makes me special. In being an entrepreneur out here, you got to have that confidence. And this is one of those things. And it's okay to tell yourself that you're special. I have a t-shirt that says I'm a big deal, because I am. Okay. To me, I may not be a big deal to anybody else, but I'm a big deal to me. And that's one of the things that I try to teach women and young girls is you are a big deal. You are. And it's okay to own that. Okay. Next, what do you do that no one else does? What makes you special? And now what makes you unique? I want to put this even bigger. Can we do that? There we go. What makes you unique right here? What do you do that no one else does? What sets you apart from anybody else that may do the same thing that you do in business, but what sets you apart? What is that one thing that you do that they can't do? that nobody else does? What is that one thing? First, you got to figure out what makes you special. Now you figure out what makes you unique. You're not asking external, all right? This is internal. This is what you are saying to you. This is not you asking the opinions of other people, okay? This is you saying these things to you. Number one, what makes me special? And then number two, what makes me unique? Yes, we both may be able to do this, but this is what sets me apart. So you have to be able to ask yourselves those questions and be honest, okay? Next, what are your positive qualities? Y'all, you have to talk positive to yourself. It's so easy to find negative things wrong with us. It's so easy. You can tick off so many negative things without even thinking about it. You can just list them without even thinking about it. Well, I want you to sit down and I want you to find out your top 3. What are positive qualities? What are those positive qualities that you have? And you're going to ask yourself this. Don't go ask again. None of this stuff is external, okay? Them, they don't matter today, all right? This is about you and what you, me, myself, and I. This is what we think about us. This is, we came to the executive decision that, yes, I'm a big deal. We came to the executive decision, me, myself, and I came to an executive decision, voted unanimously that, yes, I'm beautiful. Yes, I'm successful. Yes, okay, I'm in the right place. Yes, I'm going to the next level. Yes, I'm going to make this business profitable. And so you got to come to a unanimous decision with you, yourself, and you and say, this is what we are. All right. And this is who I am. And when you answer these questions, y'all, this is the starting point to growing your self-worth. Okay. To growing your self-worth. Next up. Another way of knowing your self-worth is speaking in ways that show your worth. Okay, I'm going to take a pause right there before we get to the next slide. And I did a business expo over the weekend, last weekend, did a business expo. And investors came to my table because I was there as an author. So they came to my table. Number 2, this is number 2. Anitra, this is number 2. Number 1 was, do you need me to go back to number 1? I don't want to go forward if you didn't get number 1. There was number 1 was define your value. Number 1 was define your value. All right. And we're going to go back at the end. We'll go back and do a recap as well. Number 1 was define your value. Right. Number 2 is speaking in ways that show your worth. Now, while I was at this business expo, something happened to me. And if you didn't watch my last live, you probably didn't catch it. But I had an investor, okay? They didn't know, wasn't dressed like an investor, didn't have on the suit and all the good stuff. But it came over to my table. And you got to talk, all right, in ways that show your worth, even for investors in this business, because you never know who you're talking to. So you have to be real sure about yourself. And this is why I said you got to know from the inside who you are. You have to know that. And you have not just know it, but believe it. Because he came over to my table. I was there, was asked to be there as an author. And so my book's on business, on branding strategies. And so, he tossed the workbook on the table and he says, I do too much work as it is. Okay. He tossed the workbook on the table and immediately I was like, I was getting ready to say, and and inside I was like, oh my gosh, he doesn't like the book, on the inside. Then he picks up the Build Your Brand book, which is the book to the workbook. And he flipped through it and he was, eyebrows went up. And then he says, now tell me something. And tell me how you're going to duplicate this idea. But then I want you to make me buy that workbook. Okay, so he was testing me to see if I knew what I was talking about and if I was confident in what I had written, all right, and what I knew to be true about branding and what I knew to be true about the strategies that I had put inside that book. And so when I finished, like I said, he walked away and he bought 4. He bought 4 of the books. Okay. He bought 4 of the books. And because I was I took a hit when he tossed it, but then I was like, that's external. I can't allow what he just did externally make me forget who I am and what I know to be true internally. Okay. So yes, externally, he said that. And I was like, oh my gosh. And for like a split second, he stood there and watched. Okay. And so I snapped out of myself and I'm like, girl, you at a business expo. You're up in here with millionaires and people want to pour in and people want to invest in what you do. And I was there as an author, but I was also representing my company. And so I had to think about my company. And I was like, okay, this could bring money to hers, not just for the books, blah, 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 blah. So I had to pop my collar, y'all. I had to pop my collar and sit up straight. And I told him, my business plan about the strategies for branding and how I'm going to bring that into other areas of my business. And then he asked me a couple of questions about branding strategies and things of that nature. And after we were finished talking, he gave me his card. And then I found out that he was $1 million investor and he wants to get with me so we can talk about taking my book from being a $200,000 idea to being a $2 million idea, because he says I'm sitting on, in his words, a gold mine with the strategies in this book. And because they were so simple that I didn't go overboard, I don't make my authors go find a lexicon or a dictionary or a thesaurus trying to figure out what I'm talking about. It was just plain simple to the point. And so that's what I'm talking about. It's internal. It's not about how they treat your stuff. And yes, it matters. But in a moment, you got to say, I don't care what you think. Listen, I don't care how you thinking about this. I know what I know. I know the product that I turned out was a good product because I did it and because I know my stuff. So you got to own it. My coach used to tell me, you're an expert, own it. You're not an expert in everything, but you're an expert in everything that you know. Be an expert in what you know. So you have to speak in ways that shows your worth. What are the parts of you that you say negative things about? This is how you get rid of this stuff. You got to sit down and what is it that the things about you, what areas in about you and your personality or your character that you're always saying negative things about? Even body. Sometimes it can be a physical thing. What are those parts of you that you say negative things about, not other people? Because if other people see you talking positive to yourself and you're carrying yourself in a positive manner, then they'll start speaking positive. And even if they don't, it won't bother you because you know what you know about you to be true about you. So find those negative things that you talk about you that you say negative things about. So find those things about you that you say negative things about. Okay. So we're talking about self-verification. That's huge, y'all. So we're trying to verify ourselves. Okay. For you, your community, your panel, me, myself, and I. Okay. So those are the things you have to do that. You have to speak in those ways that show your worth. And the first thing is getting out of the negative talk. It's the negative things that you say about yourself. Because if you constantly put yourself down, you're constantly going to feel down. And that oozes over and it flows over into your business, into your personal life, into your ministries, into whatever it is that you're trying to do. It flows over into that. It'll just spill right on over and everything is negative and you'll just have a whole negative outlook on life, period, because you couldn't say something nice about you. Okay, so that's what this is about. This is this self-verification process that we're going through today. Okay. What are ways that you can counteract these negative statements? A lot of people use positive affirmations. People get up and they say positive things about themselves. Look yourself in the mirror. Sometimes y'all, and I've said this over here before, but for those who are just following us for the first time and joining us, I always say, get your cell phones out, iPads, whatever you have. Make a video of you talking to you, but you're going to talk to you the way that you talk to somebody that you love. All right? Pretend you're talking to somebody that you love, and because it's easy for us to positively affirm other people, and we have a tough time doing that for ourselves. All right? And especially in the business world. And so get a phone, get your iPads, whatever, and create that video of you saying positive things. All right. And then play that back to yourself when you feel like, oh, I don't feel worthy. I just feel worthless. I feel hopeless. I feel helpless. Play that and sit down and listen to that. Let that stuff get inside and permeate throughout your entire being until you believe it. Play it until you believe it. Okay. That's what you have to do. So that's one of the ways that you can do that. I always tell people, put sticky notes, like write a sticky note and say something positive. Girl, you're beautiful. Stick it on your steering wheel. Okay. And leave it there. So the next time you go to your car, you may forget that you stuck it there, and then you get in your car, boom, you may be having a bad day. And you'd be like, oh my gosh. And there it is in your face. So put these things everywhere where they're visible. All right. So you want to be able to communicate the positive aspects of you to you. All right. This is not you trying to prove your worth to other people. This is you trying to identify your worth to you, not to other people. Okay. This is for you. This is you doing this for you, not for other people. Okay, because there are so many things, tiny little things matter, and we tell others what we think about ourselves. Girl, I'm just fat. I'm just fat. I just feel fat. Okay, well, number one, stop saying that about yourself, because that's not going to make the fat go away. Number two, if you indeed are fat and you feel fat, then guess what you do? Then you begin to get your meal plans together. You get you an exercise or a workout routine together. You got to start doing the positive things. It's like, yeah, I may be fat, but this is what I'm going to do. Okay, because this is internal. All right. Because I said that before to some people, and I said, oh, girl, I think I'm fat. And she didn't even say, oh, girl, no, you're not. You know what I'm saying? She didn't say nothing. I was like, so I had to stop it. And so I had to tell myself, girl, it's time for us to get in shape. I stopped saying the negative thing. I stopped saying you're fat. And I just say, okay, it's time to get in shape. All right, girl, get up. It's time for us to get this meal plan together. It's time to get this workout together. I got rid of the negative self-talk, and I start making the positive statements and stuff. And like, all right, we about to be in this size 8 for the summer. Okay. So we have to do that. All right. That's one of the ways that we do. So you combat the negative statements with positive thoughts and positive affirmations. Okay. So you must do that. You can't just say, well, stop talking negative, but we're not, and not say, but then what do I do because all I've done was talk negative? Well, now you need to talk positive. So if you tell someone to stop doing something, then you have to give them something to do. And so this is the counteractive method right here, is stop the negative and let's start the positive. And it doesn't mean that what you think about yourself, because again, I may be fat to some people, a little chunky, but to me, I don't say that. I just say, okay, it's time to hit the gym. Okay, it's time to hit the track. All right, girl, let's run these 2 miles. Okay. All right. So let's get the positivity flowing here. Number 3, this is huge. Okay. Everybody that follows us over here on Forward Friday know we have a clap moment. This is the clap moment. All right. This is so huge right here. This is the potatoes of the whole thing. Put yourself in situations that support self-worth. All right. So clap to yourself. Tell yourself that. Put yourself in situations that support self-worth. Okay? Put yourself there in situations that support self-worth. All right? Because this is what you have to understand. Self-worth, and this is how we can mess up our self-esteem as well, is because sometimes we, and consciously and subconsciously, can create the exact situations that we need to avoid that boost our self-worth. We can create these situations that we just need to avoid them. We create them. All right. Here's something I looked up in a study, and it says that participants in the study that had low self-esteem, they choose a report, listen, with a negative self-evaluation over a positive self-evaluation, which means that if you have low self-esteem, you will put yourself in situations that will keep your self-esteem low and your self-worth low. So you will put yourself in a situation that keeps your self-esteem low. So now you continue to talk negative to yourself and you don't feel worthy. You don't feel helpful. You don't feel hopeful because you put yourself there. Have you ever noticed that people tend to post more about death? If death, you know what I'm saying, than life. If somebody dies, they put it out there. They want everybody to know that somebody died. But if somebody has a baby, it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, such and such had a baby, or such and such graduated. Here's something, and this is not geared toward anyone, but have you noticed that if someone has been like in prison, we will celebrate them more coming out of prison than we will somebody coming out of college, than a graduation. Okay? Not, and it's not comparing apples to oranges. I'm just saying what we tend to celebrate more. Okay. So I'll just leave that at that. But, and in relationships, have you noticed in relationships, sometimes in relationships, especially if your self-worth is low, you will purposely choose romantic partners that put you down because you feel like you're not worthy to be with someone that's going to inspire and encourage you. How is this helping you in business? Because you will tend to listen to what other people say concerning your business. And you'll be like, well, maybe it just wasn't meant for me to run a business. Good morning, Marcella. Maybe it just wasn't meant. And we'll take that. And someone can say, you know what? This is not what God wants you to do. This ain't where God needs you to be. And we'll believe that because we already have low self-worth and low self-esteem. And so we'll believe that and we'll drop it. Instead of what you know to be true about you, and you know what God has told you about your business, what God has told you about your ministry. But you would take that negative report because someone said, and your emotional state and your psychological state agreed with what they said because you believe the external, okay, over the internal. But if the internal is positive and the internal is sure, then the external won't move you or shake you. So those are just some of the things. So you got to start taking stock in the people and the situations that, boom, you expose yourself to. You have to do that. All right. In business, in ministry, in life. But you have to do that because if in the purpose of this particular Forward Friday is to get us positioned in a place to where we can accept the positive things that we need to help us move in our businesses, move in our ministries, because some of us have been stuck. And I just say us because I don't like to, exclude myself out there, but have been stuck. And that's one of my assignments, is to help people get unstuck in business, in ministry, whatever vision they have, is to help them get unstuck. But a lot of people don't even want to acknowledge that they're stuck. They'll just say, oh no, it's just, I'm delayed, but not denied. See, and we all of that different stuff, we over spiritualize things instead of just being honest and accepting of where we are so that we can get out of that place. So you have to take stock of the people and situations that you expose yourself to. Everybody is just not for you. They're not good for your business. They're not good for your ministry. They're not good for your relationship. They're not good for you, period. Okay. And we have to be okay that, okay, this is just not, they're just not good for me. All right. And it could be a seasonal thing. It could just be that season. But most of the time, they're just not good. And we have to understand that. And we have to be accepting of that and say, let me keep it pushing. Okay. Because my business and my ministry relies on me being healthy in these areas of my life. If the people and situations are toxic, remove yourself from it or them. You have to, for the sake of the vision, whether it's a business, whether it's a ministry, you have to do it. And you have to be willing to say that, yes, they are toxic. And toxic people will let you know they're toxic. That's the crazy part is they've already exposed themselves as being toxic. And we've identified them as being toxic. But because of our self-worth meter, we'll keep them there because we feel like, well, I'll never get anybody else. Or, man, I hired them, but they bring the business down. But I ain't going to get nobody else that can crunch numbers like they can crunch numbers. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. There are other people out there. It may take you a minute to find somebody, but yes, you can. All right. And that goes for relationships. There is somebody out there that will appreciate your self-worth, that will appreciate and value you. But the first person that has to do that is you, because people will only treat you the way you allow them to treat you and what they see and how you treat yourself. Do you not understand that people will watch how you treat you? And that's why they think it's okay for them to treat you that way or talk to you that way. Yo, this is business, okay? Because even in business, if you position yourself a certain way in the business world and being an entrepreneur and you carry yourself like an entrepreneur, people are not going to talk to you, not going to talk down to you as if you don't know what you're talking about, like you don't know your stuff. They will. But first, and that's the whole thing, people watch and they hear how you talk about you. So it's like, well, she called herself fat, so it's not going to hurt me to say, hey, yeah, you're a little chunky over there. You know what I'm saying? And then you get offended. You can't, because they've heard you talk to yourself that way. Okay. So here's one of my final thoughts. I'll tell y'all we weren't going to be on here long. Here's my final thought. Self-worth is easy. It's not easy. Okay. It's not an easy thing to develop. But once you develop it, it's easy to maintain if you take some of these tips and strategies that I have given you. But we better understand how we let others determine our self-worth. All right. So hopefully this gave you just a better understanding of self-worth and how it's internal. It's not the same as the self-esteem and the self-confidence, because that's when we're looking for the things and the factors on the outside to boost us up. But self-worth is only coming from the inside. Those are the internal factors. This is what you say about you. So hopefully we can shift our worth towards things that we have control over. All right, which is you, and improve your happiness and quality of life by talking positive to yourself and begin to dig into those areas that we talked about on here today. All right, so we're going to do a quick recap on this, and then we're going to have some questions if you have questions. All right, so self-worth, that's that internal sense of being good enough and worthy of love and belonging from others. Okay. And that came from Merriam-Webster dictionary. That is the definition of self-worth. I didn't make it up. But here we go. Self-esteem, which is my note, is relying on external factors to define your value. All right. It's different from self-worth. All right. How do you value yourself more and boost your self-worth? Number one, you have to define your value. What makes you special? What do you do that no one else does? Which means what makes you unique? What are your positive qualities? Number two, speaking in ways that show your worth. Oh, this is huge. What are parts of you that you say negative things about? Dig in. I'm going to give y'all a tool to take with you today. What are ways to counteract those negative statements? We already said positive affirmations. Number 3, put yourself in situations that support self-worth. Okay. You put yourself in situations. You can't say, well, they did it and no, this is you. Personal responsibility, personal development, personal. All right. Which is you. So you got to take stock of the people and situations that you expose yourself to. And if the people and situations are toxic, remove yourself from it and them. All right. And remember, you can only change yourself. Nobody else can do that. That's the takeaway. You can only change yourself. Okay, questions, comments, concerns. I'll give you a minute and then I'm going to give y'all the freebie that I have for you guys today. I have a nice freebie for you guys. So anyone have any questions? Any questions of anything we talked about? Remove that. Excuse me. I think I'm battling a cold over here, but it's going to be all good with this lemon tea. Anyone have any questions about anything we said today? If you don't, and if you do have questions, comments, or concerns later, just put them in here on the live. I'll come back. All our information is scrolled at the bottom of the screen of how you can follow us and how you can get in contact with me. But I do have a freebie for you guys today. And I need you, in order to get it, I need you to send me your email address. Send your email address. Say, I want the freebie, and I want you to send it here. Let me put it in here. Let's see. There we go. Hers LLC at yahoo.com. Send your email address. Send an email to that email address and say, I want the freebie. Hop on a little late. I was making tortillas. So I'm going to have to catch a replay. Okay, Marcel. You're in those tortillas. All right. On Fridays. But I have a worksheet, y'all, and it's called a self-worth checkup. All right. It's a self-worth checkup and you can have it free. Just send me an email and say, I want the freebie. Now, don't worry. I don't do email campaigns. I know people love that stuff. I don't do it. I don't have time to do all that stuff every week. That's not my lane. I don't do email campaigns. So you're not going to get any spam email from me. You're not going to get any weekly emails from me or nothing like that. You will only get this one email from me today. If you want this, it's called Forward Friday with Dr. K, and it's called a self-worth checkup. Self-worth checkup, and it's going to be a worksheet that you can have free. All right, and it's a checklist to help you determine where you are in terms of your self-worth. It's just different things, and you're going to rate yourself from 0 to 10. All right, and then there's going to be a place at the bottom that states what do you need to do to change. What do you need to change for you to move up these different points? Okay, where you rate yourself in a low. With a low number. Okay. And this is for you. This is nothing that you need to turn into me. This is strictly for you. I don't need anything back. This is just my way of saying thank you for being with us today on Forward Friday for this one, especially when it's talking about self-worth. Okay. And so if you watch me on Twitter, please do the same thing. I'll make sure that everyone has the email address. It should be up there. I'm going to see if I can pin it with my cell phone, y'all. Y'all know we try to do, no, it won't let me do it with the cell phone. Y'all know we be doing that the most with this stuff. I can go back and pin it later when I go off. But I want you to have that. And it's just something just to help you to keep track and just see where you are with yourself. So you know the areas where you need to improve. All right. And so I really do thank you guys for joining me today on this episode of Forward Friday. You guys, I'm so excited for everything that we are doing. There's some more things coming. There's going to be some free master classes that are going to be coming, you guys. So I'm telling y'all, just continue to rock with us over here on Forward Fridays. And oh yeah, I was told that I need to make sure that I put the books up. Y'all know forever. For those who don't know, the books that we were talking about, it's called Build Your Brand and the Branding Blueprint Workbook. They are available on Amazon. I gotta give the shameless plug, y'all. I got a sponsor, okay? so I gotta make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So my sponsor can say, okay, she doing what she's supposed to do. But the Branding Blueprint Workbook and Build Your Brand, they are available on Amazon, or you can get them from me Again, if you would like to purchase from me, just everything scrolling across the bottom of the screen, or send that information in the email when you say, I want the freebie, you guys. Yeah, say, I want the freebie. And that's going to let me know that you're talking about the worksheet. And I will get that to you as soon as you send me the email today. Yes, thank you, Marcella. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes I forget to put it out there, but there you go. And so I do thank you. And if this is your first time with us, I thank you as well, because I do see Anitra Ortiz. Thank you, ma'am, for rocking with us today. And thank you, Stacy Marie, for coming over and inviting those people. And if you are catching me by replay still, invite 3 of your boss friends that you know that says, listen, this could be something that they can utilize, and need a little self-worth boost. That's all this is about. And just sharing what I know, so that you guys can grow up and glow up and go up and all the good stuff. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. Thank you. If you watch me over on Twitter, thank you as well. And this recording will be made available on YouTube as well. All right, y'all. That's it for today's Forward Friday, but I will see you guys again next week. Same time, same line. Let's go out the same way we came in.